y'all, it's Hannah, and welcome back to my channel, or hi, hello if you're new here. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a video that I have been really wanting to do for quite a while here on my YouTube channel, and that is what it was like to grow up with a disability. Now, this was a video that I had originally planned for last year, and then about this time last year, I actually got the opportunity to film with Barcroft, and I don't really want to go into too many details, but I just couldn't really do that video for that reasoning of working with Barcroft, so I decided to work with them instead of doing this video, and I was like, you know what? I can do that whenever. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So today I'm going to be talking all about what it was like, my experience. I even have written down some notes on my phone of just different questions that different people have asked me at different times of my life that I'm going to answer. I'm going to be completely and 100% honest and raw with you guys that this is probably going to be a little bit of a tricky video because I'm going to be touching on some things that I haven't really discussed here on my channel before. But if you are very interested in learning more about me and just my experiences, then I highly recommend that you do keep on watching this video, although I will warn you, it might be a long one. So before we kind of get into my experience, let's go ahead and kind of go back and let's just kind of refresh our memories in case some of you are new here and this is your first time watching me about what my disability is. So I have osteogenesis imperfecta type 2/3. I'm kind of like a mixed type. I did a whole video about my disability that I'll have listed down below in the description box. But in case you don't really want to watch that video, I'll just quickly give you a brief scenario of what it is. So basically, it just means that my bones are more likely to fracture because my body lacks collagen. Now, this disability it can be one or two things. It can be a genetic disease, meaning that it can be passed down from someone, meaning that it can be passed down from a grandparent. It can be passed down from even a parent, a aunt, an uncle, just whatever. Something that can kind of run in your family that you'll kind of know that you have a risk of passing down if you decide to start a family, or it can just be a random mutation, a genetic mutation. Mine was a random mutation. Neither one of my parents had the genes nor any of their families or anything like that, so mine was a complete 1 in a million gene mutation. So basically what collagen is kind of like this stuff that you have in your bones that kind of like keep your bones together. Since my bones lack that means I am more at a higher risk to fracture bones. I also have a lot of other medical problems and things that kind of just go along with it. You can be short of stature with it, or you can be kind of tall. I'm a bit on the shorter stature. In fact, my doctors aren't really for sure if I may or may not have dwarfism mixed in with mine, because some people do, some people don't. I was a very tiny baby. I was very short and just very tiny and very skinny, so yeah, but that is just kind of like a brief scenario about what my disability is. So with that being said, obviously, since the day that I was born, I have had a disability. This is not something that just randomly happened to me or anything like that. So we're going to touch a little bit later on in the video about that part of the disability, but I really just wanted to quickly just go over it and give you guys a brief scenario about my disability. So, two of the very first topics that I want to cover in this video is when did I accept my disability and when did you realize you were disabled? So, I've never had to accept my disability because, like I mentioned, this was something that I was born with. So, this is just something that I dealt with. I've never really known what it's like to walk. I've never known what it was like to be able to do certain things independently, because this was always and has been and will be my life, and I'm okay with that. But I never really have had to accept it because this has been my life. This is just how it's been. And when I started to realize that I guess, quote unquote, I was different, I don't really think of myself as different, but I think I was probably around 3 or 4. I might have been 5, but I'm leaning more towards maybe 3 or 4 because it was when I started preschool. So all throughout my life and all throughout my childhood, I have never been treated any differently. I was never treated any differently from my cousins. I was never treated any different from my brother when he eventually came along because I'm older than him. I always played with my mom's friends' kids because a lot of them kind of started having kids around the time that she started having children, so I played with them. So I was about 3 or 4 when I started to realize that I was different, and that was because I had started preschool, and the preschool that I had attended prior to me starting this school, they had always separated the kids that had disabilities away from children that didn't. And then something kind of happened to my toe. I'm not really sure what, but something kind of happened with that school. And they just decided that, and I'm very thankful that they did this because they should, that they needed to mix and mingle all of the kids so that way all of the kids kind of can play together and see that, you know, children really, no matter what, are any different. It doesn't matter. So I was about 3 or 4, and I realized that the kids were kind of treating me different. They weren't being mean, but, you know, you have to understand these kids had never probably been around anybody in a wheelchair before or anything like that. So that's kind of when I started to realize that I was different. And then I also remember around this time, too, when I started school, that was when it was explained to me, you know, that I had to be careful, and it was explained to me about my disability and just different things like that. So I was about 3 or 4 years old when I started to realize that, you know, I couldn't really walk, I couldn't really do certain things like most kids my age was doing. My next thing that I want to go into was how hard was it for you to make friends? Was it any different for me to make friends since I had a disability, etc.? So when I was younger, I feel like it probably was a little bit easier for me to make friends because children just in general, they're just very curious and they're pretty much non-judgmental. So when I was a kid, it was really easy. And then when I got older, thankfully, I kind of remained friends with the same people that I went to preschool with throughout elementary school because we all ended up going to the same elementary school. Then when I got into middle school and high school, that's when things started to get really challenging for me. I was essentially in a homeschooling program by the time I had reached middle school and high school. So I didn't really see a lot of people as often as I did. In fact, I was put in this homeschool program when I was actually in elementary school, but I still remained in contact with everybody, and it wasn't really as weird, I guess you could say. But then once I reached about middle school or high school, that's when everybody kind of starts getting into activities, and they start getting into sports, and they start getting into clubs and just different things, and it was just very complicated for me back then because they would start talking about things and people that I had no idea what was going on because I didn't really attend school with them. Also, too, and I'm not trying to throw shade to anybody that I attended school with, but I could kind of sense at times that, you know, they didn't really want to hang out with me because, you know, I really wasn't a part of their crew anymore. And, that's okay because when you get older, you do drift away from people and you do drift apart from people. You know, that's just a part of growing up. That's just a part of living. I mean, everybody goes through that, whether or not you have a disability or not. You know, you lose contact with people throughout the years because you just grow and you just learn and you just expand as a person. But I definitely would say as I have gotten older, it's been a bit more challenging, especially now when I'm in my 20s because a lot of people in my area are married and some of them even have kids now themselves, which is really crazy to think about. So, yeah, I would say for the most part it really wasn't challenging as a kid, but it definitely is now. The next thing that we are going to discuss is, did everyone in your family accept you? So, like I had mentioned earlier, my parents, neither one of them tested positive for any type of a genetic situation where this could have happened. It was determined that I was a genetic mutation, meaning that it was just a 1 in a million chances, and I was the 1 in a million chance, so, you know, it's kind of weird that I get to say that I'm kind of like 1 in a million, but anyway. So, for the most part, yes, I was accepted. There are some trickier things that I would like to discuss, but I kind of just don't really want to get into it. So, for the most part, yes, I was accepted. You know, something that having a disability teaches you, and I feel like something that you just learn in life in general is that, not everybody's always going to accept you. Not everybody's always going to love you. Not everyone's always going to want the best for you. So, I'm thankful for the ones that do love me, and I'm thankful for the ones that do accept me, and I feel sorry for the ones who do not. Not because I feel like I feel like the reason that I feel sorry for them is that they can't see past everything, and they just can't stay human. And that's something that, you kind of struggle with when you do grow up with a disability. That's one of the hardest things, is that you'll encounter people that they can't see past your disability. They can't see past your wheelchair. They can't see past this. They can't see past that. All they can see is just that. They can't see you as a human. They can't see you as a person. They can't see you and appreciate your interests. They can't see you and appreciate your skills. They can't see you and appreciate what you are capable of, because all they want to study is what you can't do, and what, that the skills that you don't have, and just different things like that. So that's the part that I really do pity people on, is the fact that they can't see past something, that they can't see, past whatever it may be that that person has, that they just can't see the human for that person really is. And then my next question is, was it hard growing up with a disability? Yes and no. Like I mentioned earlier, the hardest part about that is that you're going to encounter people who can't see you, like all they can see is your disability. Another hard thing too is that you're going to have people who doubt you a lot, which is so frustrating. And you also have to deal with a lot of stereotypes, which people in general in life have to deal with stereotypes, but disability stereotypes really suck, because people think that people with disabilities, they can't live productive lives, they can't lead a happy life, they can't do anything, that they're just pitiful, and that is so far from the truth. So that has probably been the hardest part for me with growing up with a disability, is the simple fact that, a lot of people just can't see past you. Another thing too, sorry that my phone just went off. Another thing too is that was really hard was, at times growing up, I did feel lonely, especially in my teen years. Because, I didn't really have a lot of people. I don't really have a lot of people in my area, honestly, that do have disabilities or have my disability in particular. So that was something that really was hard for me at times, because I didn't really have anybody to hang out with. I didn't really have anybody to really talk to. Yes, I had my family, and I love my family to absolute pieces, but I didn't really have, friends. I didn't really have a lot of gal pals like a lot of people did. I was watching a lot of people in my teen years get to go off and do things that, I really wished I could have done, but I unfortunately didn't get to do any of those things. So that's also one of the main reasons to kind of like what led me to YouTube and to starting social media and everything. So yeah, that was probably one of the hardest and toughest parts of growing up with a disability, is that sometimes you just feel lonely, and sometimes people they doubt you, and it really sucks. It really does. Okay, this is a topic that I wanted to discuss because so many people say this to me, and I just really wanted to just mention it. So, a lot of people always say things like, oh, you're so strong, oh, you're so this. So this next topic that I want to discuss is, do you feel like it's really made you stronger? And truthfully, no, I don't. I don't really feel like I am a strong person, and here is why. Because whenever I go through a fracture or whenever I go through a sickness, that is always something that people tell me. And while I greatly appreciate it, and I understand that that in a sense is a form of a compliment for a lot of people, I understand that it is. But for me personally, I don't really feel like I'm being strong just because, I fracture a rib and I go out and I do my productive daily routine. because guess what? That's my life. I move on with it. What am I supposed to do? Sit in a corner and cry? No. I learned at a very young age that if I sat in a corner and cried every time something went wrong with my health, I was going to be sitting in a corner and crying a lot of tears and wasting a lot of my life. So I just got up and I just did what I needed to do, and that was that. So no, I don't really feel like this made me stronger. I feel like if anything, this taught me that, you have to get up and you have to keep living and you have to keep being productive. Topic that we are going to discuss that I'm really curious out there to ask some of you guys this as well. If you could reverse your disability or just reverse anything, period, in your life, you can, use this for whatever you have gone through in your life. Would you reverse it and would you change it? And my answer is no, I would not, because I don't feel like I would have gotten the opportunities that I have gotten if my life would have been different. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with the way that it is. Have I had a lot of challenges? Yes, I have. Have I, had a lot of bad things happen to me? Yes, I have. But, every single thing that has happened to me in my life, whether it be really, really good or really, really bad, I am so thankful for it because it did make me the person that I am today, and I would not change that and I would not reverse it. I am very happy with the way I am. This is how God wanted me to be. This is how He wanted to make me, and I could not be any more happier with the way things are currently. So I'm going to leave you guys off on that note. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you would like to see more videos like this from me, then please give this video a big thumbs up down below. Primarily though, I do make beauty videos here on YouTube because makeup and beauty and skincare is just my absolute favorite thing ever and a huge passion of mine. I'll also have a link down below where you guys can go check out more about me and my story and just different things like that if you would like to. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in Thursday's video. Bye, my little Hannah Florence.